When in a reverie, we are either thinking about the past or sailing off to the future. The present is here and with us, but we care little about it. The Lord, in the 28th verse of the second chapter, makes this truth known to us that there is a past, there is a future, and in between the past and the future is the present. So we must make the best of the present. He states, beings come from the unseen, in between they become seen, and they return also to the unseen. So there is nothing to worry, there is nothing to grieve. The air has water in the form of humidity. The water in the air cannot be seen. But when the humidity condenses to form cloud, it rains. When the water can be seen, it can be seen as water flowing from the tap, the water in your water jug, as rivers, as waterfall, and so on. When the same water evaporates again, it cannot be seen again. So grieve not. Nothing is lost. It is there. It is eternal. The people of India have always been curious to realize the self, to manifest the imprisoned Atman. So many people left their home, became mendicants, went to forest, lived in caves to realize this imprisoned splendor. After wandering for several months, several days, the young Shakyan prince of the Lichavi tribe got the answer to all his questions. He was full of joy. For 7 days and nights he walked up and down under the very tree under which he got enlightenment. He realized the truth. He became the Buddha. The tree was later known as the Bodhi Vriksha, the tree of enlightenment. The Lord told Arjun, some see this truth, that is the Atman, as a wonder. Some others speak of it as a wonder. Some hear about it and some do not understand it. The British poet Robert Browning referred to the Atman as imprisoned splendor in one of his poems. Our great scriptures state that the Atman is present in every being, but is hidden. The Atman, if released from its imprisonment, even to a very little extent, will help lose vices like hatred, violence, make day-to-day life better, and make human reactions beautiful. One who realizes the mystery of the Atman becomes truly free. Often in life, we have noticed situations wherein a person may be powerful and wealthy, but is absolutely unfree. But someone who has attained the true knowledge about the self, the Atman, is free. He may not be rich, he may not be powerful, but he is free, fearless, devoid of worries. He is even in pain and pleasure. Human being is not a speck of dust. It is not a creature, but is free. Within him or her, there is something wonderful. This is the most profound message the Vedanta leaves for mankind.